Good evening. Is there anybody out? Oh, I've made a big mistake. Hey, everybody, hold on. It turns out I wasn't ready after all. Oh, and I want to do something else. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, let's bring this in. But not. There it is. Okay. Da, 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 da. All right, good evening. What? Has anyone noticed anything different? Denise and Kimberly and Susan and Dawn. Dawn! Welcome, Dawn. You're here before me. Dawn, oh, it's getting kind of late, isn't it? 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30? Uh-oh, Dawn won't be here for too long. Am I right? Is Todd here already?
Stinks.
Light it up, let's get this show on the road.
Live in 2020. Tommy, JY, Lawrence, Ricky, Todd, Chuck. Stinks. August 2nd. Live.
Who? Oh, yeah, I forgot. My mic was on. I could have spoken during that time. Who the hell is Todd? I'll bet we've given Todd, okay, if we haven't given him more press, he's probably never been talked about more, even during a Stick show. I'm gonna just guess. That's a little harsh. I wouldn't be able to pick Todd out of a lineup of Styx members. Would you be able to pick out Todd from a lineup? I wouldn't be able to pick him out of a lineup of just Styx band members. Sometimes you have to just, there it is, okay. Or it could have just been, I wouldn't be able to pick Todd out of a lineup of Styx members. The band, just the band. I don't know the exact words to say there, but it's important. Hello, Bill, Elizabeth, and Dawn. I know it's 2:40 a.m. and I'm on hold with the bank. What kind of bank is open? You're going to be on hold probably till they open tomorrow morning. Is that right? An hour and 15 minutes. What would even make you think that they're going to pick up at this time, Dawn? It's like a haunted episode. So yeah, I had to shoot something today, and I used the other side of that black screen. It's white. It's a white screen, and I shot something with it today. And so the thing is, you already know the blueprints to my whole house, and when the shit goes down, I'm very vulnerable. But I'm shooting at right angles. The bookcase is over there, and usually the camera would be there, shooting to the bookcase over there. But now I'm shooting this direction. And I thought this was easier because I have to shoot some stuff tomorrow. I don't want to move everything and move it back. I'm going to really need 2 whole setups, but I have to swing a few things around. The mic, the camera. I do have, the mic is going to be super easy from now on because I got a second cord, and the mic cable one can stay over there and one can stay here. And then when I move the mic, I don't have to restring cables. Anyway, you'd have to see it to know what the hell I'm talking about. Brian fell into a black hole. Hey, NetReamer. David, I downloaded that file you sent me, but I didn't get it loaded up, which, I mean, I could do. It would be no less professional than anything else that's happened here on this show, which is sponsored by String Cheese. In the dark of a dying universe, only one thing can make you smile. String cheese! Okay, so what'd you have for dinner? This one, I think we should aim for comfortable, shorter lengths, except for maybe on weekends, who knows? You think, I need to hear from you, like, should I be trying to stream sometimes during the day or at different hours? You're in different time zones and there's gonna be too many different answers and it's only gonna make it harder for me. And Dawn, like I need to do some earlier streams, maybe on Instagram or something. Cause I know a lot of people in Europe and the UK. And this is a terrible time for that. Dawn can just barely catch it. I could start a little earlier, but then it's really early on the West Coast. It's so complicated. Cheese. Elena Levine. Is that Elena Levine out there? The author of Networking for Nerds? Hey, before we go any further, why don't we take a look at the stats from last night, huh? Why don't we do that? Are you ready? Did I miss anyone else? Kimberly, you love cheese, Elena? That doesn't surprise me. I came for the cheese. NetReamer, I now have a video of the thing I sent you via audio. Want the video file? Why not? But let's take a look at the stats. I believe when we come here, these are the stats that we saw previously from, what day is it? Does anyone even know? Does anybody know what time it is? Does anybody care? These were, a couple nights ago. If today's Thursday, it was the Monday night stats that we looked at Wednesday, and now it's Thursday, and let's see how we did. It's Denise, Darla, Albert, Susan, Mark, NetReamer, Kimberly, Sciency Optimist. And let's reveal last night's stats. Whoa! Who moved into the front place? Elena Levine, author of Networking for Nerds. Then Albert, then Mark Kaplan, Darla, Kimberly, Denise, and then David Sparks swoops in on his corporate account right towards the end of the whole thing and knocks out NetReamer. Wow, neck and neck. And those two guys I know from my old streaming TV show 20 years ago in San Francisco. They were each guests, and they were each... Elena, did you place? Yeah, you're the winner. Elena, you've won something. Let's see. Show her what she's won, Brian. You've won 1 unit of string cheese. It will be at the front desk, and you can claim it with contactless claiming. We have to know when you'll be here. You have to attend alone. We need your itinerary and triplicate. You're not allowed to travel on any mass transit. You can't use airplanes. And if you arrived encased in a big plastic bubble, then we would give you 2 pieces of string cheese. Otherwise, it's just the 1. Although it's not that actual one, because I'm going to eat that one. Oh, maybe it was your actual one. See, such an achievement. See, this is one of those silver linings, Elena, that I told you to look for. Under the cloud of the virus, this is one of those silver linings. You're outside right now with no hand sanitizer. Wow, is that the first line of a song? What happened, Susan? Indeed, what happened to you, Susan? What happened to you, Susan? Albert's up there in second place with 53 comments, and you had less than 31. That's all they give me. And I'm not going to manually go through and count them. But, send. Oh, yeah. See, I didn't have to tell the whole story. You understand. Let's get this show on the road in a fake Dennis DeYoung accent.
Sticks.
Light it up, let's get this show on the road.
Live in 2020. Tommy, JY, Lawrence, Ricky, Todd, Chuck. Sticks. August 2nd. Live at
I can't hear it. But I know it's funny, but I can't hear it. What does he say? Let's get this party started, or let's get this show on the road, or let's pop out another cliche as I sing like Dennis DeYoung. which I can't do and didn't do. That wasn't even an attempt. Elizabeth says my comments were deleted. Okay. Susan and Albert, make me jealous. What'd you have to eat? Vanessa, if you're out there. Who else? Elena, what are you eating these days? Here in the days of the quarantine. What do you eat? I made something. It ties together two different parts of my life in a weird way, here in a third part of my life. I made something that my mom used to make a long time ago, and it was probably my only reference point for a city I would later move to and live in. So I made rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat, here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and the circuit is now complete. Came out fine. That's all I got to say about that. We talked about music that night that I had the lead, that you had. Oh, the night that you had the lead. I'm looking back at Denise's comment. I do need to add a date to the Chatters graphic because you don't understand how confusing it is. I mean, it's not only that. It's like when I pull it up and I have one as a layer on top of the other layer. The way I'm switching them is they're two layers, and I make the new one invisible, but on top. So we look at the first one, then I make visible the next one, and it's laying right on top. And we could, but it would sure help to have those dates on it because I absolutely get confused. Which one was which? I don't know. What do you win? You already know what you won. You're outside with no hand sanitizer. Energizer was gonna rhyme with that. You're outside with no hand sanitizer, looking for the bunny from the Energizer ad. All right, so this is gonna be a quiet show, apparently. You're gonna watch me as I off-screen scroll through the comments. Forget August 2nd. Will there be any large concerts in 2020? Oh, yeah. What's August 2nd? Did I miss that, NetReamer? But that's pretty hard to predict. So I was going through today. I finished a video that's not one of these virus videos, but the thing I hosted the other day, it was a pizza lunch for Sigma Xi, and there was a speaker, and Zeynep Yilmaz, and she's a neurogeneticist, and she studies the genetics of eating disorders. And she gave a talk via Zoom. It was a Zoom event about anorexia nervosa and genetic and environmental factors. And then I interviewed her for about a half hour almost. And so we had a snafu with the recording, so we didn't end up with the whole program. All we really ended up with was most of my interview, missing the very first part. That was my fault. I didn't turn it on until she was into her first answer. But anyway, that's why, if you look at it, I'll be sharing it tomorrow when they post it. It's just like a remote interview about anorexia and the genetic underpinnings. And but I shot a little intro for it and then edited it and threw some titles and tweaked the audio and did that. And I spent some time with the interview from the virologist, Dr. Barbara Sherry. And there's some good stuff in there. And this got in the way a little bit because I was kind of hoping I might get one out tomorrow, one segment from it. So I think the next video is going to be about what we know about the origins of this coronavirus. And then I also want to get this one out that's sort of an update to the previous one about whether pets can carry the virus or be infected with it. They can, of course, carry it as a surface. All of this goes into the low, it's not high risk, but it's possible. Cats have been infected. Maybe some dogs. I'm not, I got to go back to the tape. But some cats have been infected, got it from their owners, had some symptoms, didn't die, didn't really complain a lot. In a laboratory, a cat passed it to another cat via air. But in reality, all around the globe, we only have literally a few cases. So wouldn't worry about it too much. But if you're sick, don't rub your face and hands all over your pet. Just take a break for a second. Now you don't even have to watch my videos that I'm going to work so hard. I would say I work so hard on, but I'm going to work so hard on because it's mostly in front of me. But I did prep them. I got them looking good, and I had to fix her audio. We had some serious audio problems on her end, and I got it sounding a little better. Kevin Kataoka, oh shit, I'm not even being interesting. I didn't know you were out there. You had tuna casserole for the first time since college. Yeah, I had rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat. You know about that, right? For the first time in, I don't know if it's since college, but damn, pretty long time. I wish we could play music and stuff that it wouldn't get my video banned or anything later. Albert, you haven't even eaten yet? You heard dinner was going to be served with this show. Yeah, it is, but you guys didn't buy the dinner ticket. No. You didn't let them upsell you. You get snacks. It's trail mix, kind of, without any of the peanuts. More trail, less mix. Elizabeth, the sciencey optimist, you like the San Fran? I grew up with it. I can't help it. Black bean vegetarian burgers. Rice-a-roni rules. Back multitasking. I understand, Dawn. And it's late over there. Oh yeah, you're on the phone. Did you get the bank on the phone? Kimberly would kill for a smoothie, just like an ant or something, but still. But ants are so cool. However, let us discuss ants for a moment, because I don't like killing bugs pretty much, but I make a few exceptions. Mosquitoes, obviously. What were you thinking? To land on someone with the intention of eating them? No. So mosquitoes, no problem. But like bees and wasps and stuff, I don't go out of my way. There's carpenter bees have been floating around. If I sit on the porch, the other day one was really hanging out around me a lot, but it didn't bother me. No big deal. But okay, mosquitoes. Roaches, they don't even bite you or sting you or anything, but roaches are disgusting. I think all creatures, not just humans, fear and despise the cockroach. They're just disgusting. We all know that they're going to outlive us. And it's probably going to be our fault, so we can hate them even more for that. But roaches, always hate them. Grew up in Texas. There were lots of them. Roaches, hate them, especially if you see them in your house. So mosquitoes, roaches. The thing about ants, I think ants are fascinating little machines, and they're very interesting when they're outside. But when they're inside, I have a thing, it's like seasonal, and they've been showing up. A few scouts have come in recently. They're in the kitchen, and they're near the sink. You know where they end up? Down the drain. Don't even have to squash them. You just wash them away. Maybe they don't even die. Maybe they just, on the other end of that pipe, they become somebody else's problem. Maybe they'll find something better to eat there. But I used to have 2 cats and cat food bowls, and oh boy, the ants, sometimes you'd come in the morning and there was just countless ants in the cat food bowl. I actually had to rig something like a moat system. I put down a dinner plate, and then I put down the cat food bowl in the middle, and then I put water around it so the ants, it was like a little moat system to keep the ants from reaching the bowl. The only problem was the cat wouldn't cooperate, because in the process of eating, he knocks the bowl around, he pushes it to the side, it breaches the moat, the ants get in. What can you do? So I've had to, as much as I love them, I allow other insects in the house. There's spiders, like, especially if a spider is up in a corner, little spider, they're not scared. They're little. You almost don't notice them. That's fine. They can stay there. They're eating other bugs. If they're on the floor, spiders are in the category that I'll scoop them out. I'll scoop them up on a piece of paper and escort them outside. I assume it's better for them out there. It's better for me. But like I said, if they're up there, they can stay. But ants, here's the problem with ants. See, these guys are all like individual bugs. When ants come in, if it was just one ant, I don't think I'd have a problem with it. But it's all the ants. You had to tell every ant you know you found something worth checking out, and that's unacceptable. I cannot have you. You're fine. One ant, we would barely cross paths. But 1,000 ants everywhere, crawling over the cat food, going after the cat next, maybe? I don't know. But, yeah, so in much the same way that I hate certain conservative leaders in this country for the way they make me hate them. I hate them for how they make me hate. I don't want to hate. These ants have made me into a murderer that I don't want to be. I've gone hand-to-hand battle with many ants, and they have 6 hands. I have a better reach and a height advantage, but I don't like that I have to kill it. I would rather like put a little food just outside the house. If I could speak to them for just a moment, and I would leave them a little bit of food outside. I would give them some cat food, maybe even human food, maybe even ant food. I would put it outside if they would just stay out there. They don't need to come in. They're good out there. They got their own homes that they build with their bare hands. So I don't like that they made me into murderers. I don't want to be that way. Fascinating. All right, stats are all looking good. Let's go to the comments. I ran out of steam there. I think there's a bigger conclusion to all that than that, but those are some of my feelings about ants. Damn it. They are neat, though. I see how it works. Sigma Xi gets pizza, we get bupkis. Netreamer, August 2nd, you force us to watch and listen to that stupid Styx ad again and again, and you never notice what concert date they're promoting? Oh, well, if they were saying it, I haven't been hearing the ad today. I even tried to turn the volume up, and it turns out that I don't even think I have that. There's a setting there where it's not coming to the monitor, or I would have to have that earpiece in. Why didn't I hear it? Holy crap, that's cranked away. Oh, no, it isn't. All right. Why, Bri? Eat more rice around? You forgot to start recording? No. You have like 2 things to do. No, you know what happened on the Zoom thing? Do not mock. They were recording on their end. And I said, well, maybe now, I've been in a Zoom situation where both of us recorded. We were co-hosting the meeting. It was this webinar I gave for Lawrence Berkeley Lab. It was the first gig that canceled because of the virus. My first gig that canceled was my trip to the Bay Area, David, to go. I was going to spend extra days there too, and I was going to speak and perform both at two different events at Lawrence Berkeley Lab. And that gig canceled, and then that night I streamed here for the first time. Like this anyway. So we did a webinar instead of me doing that talk, and we were both hosts. She ran, on their end, they ran it, but I had host privileges, I guess. So what that meant is we both recorded it, and it worked fine, okay? So what happened the other day here was she was recording on her end, and then I was going to just record the interview after her talk. And so after I started the interview, I remembered to hit the record button. So I was after I did the intro and asked her a question, And she started answering. I hit the record button. But it's okay because today I shot an intro to it that leads right up to a place where I chopped off some of the first things she said and joined her at a fine time. So don't you worry about it. Nobody needs to know. I let you know behind the scenes, but nobody needs to know that, David. Dawn, you got through to the bank. Only took an hour and a half, but it's all sorted and sordid, no doubt. Blocked the fraudsters. Ordered new card. All right. David should change his screen name to Kevin Karaoke, and then Not a Show can be interesting every night. Maybe. No, but that's the first time that I knew that Kevin had tuned in. I'm not going to eat any bees. I know, roaches and cheese and... Hey, Elena is transparently trying to have the most comments again. Oh my God, you must be so far ahead right now. You must be so proud of yourself. Oh, Kevin said a long time ago, 5 minutes ago, Kate and I just watched the freaky ant movie Phase 4 again. Not only have I seen, I don't remember it that well, but I read the novelization of it. And it might even be on my bookshelf. Nah, probably not. It's probably upstairs. But I read it because the novelization was written by a respectable science fiction writer. I think it's Barry Malzberg, old science fiction writer. And the book was pretty good. And then I rented it. I had probably seen it when I was a kid. Phase 4, Roman numeral 4, everybody. It's a creepy ant movie. And I remember liking it. And then I enjoyed the book. And this was still quite a few years ago. And then I probably rented the movie at Le Video. It was probably, was it that long ago? Oh, yeah. Huh. I might have even lived with you in the things that I'm talking about. Who knows? Ants are annoying with their damn chemtrail. It's pretty neat, though. I wish I could leave. It's better than a trail of breadcrumbs. They're more advanced than us. Tiny little things. We talked about viruses. It's weird because I had the conversation with Dr. Sherry yesterday, but I was watching video today, so I feel like she was talking to me today. Anna Miller Hodis says, I had a praying mantis land on my head 2 times in 1 year. Different mantis. Are you sure? Can you be sure? Kevin, one time I was doing a gig around Mount Shasta, somewhere up there near Mount Shasta. And it was like a little theater, and it was me headlining and Tony Diamco opening, the two-person show. And it was a neat little town, and we were outside after the show, and I actually think it was me and Tara and Tony, and all of a sudden Tony started freaking out because a praying mantis had landed on my shoulder or head. And I think I had a jacket. Maybe I didn't even know. But Tony freaked out, and then I just got it, and we kind of played with it a little and let it go. Played with it. Don't play with your food. It wasn't food. Fire ants would drown as individuals, as when there's a flood. They all join up and make a raft and float to safety. Yeah. Well, fortunately, this isn't a fire ant. We have a kind of ant here. You probably do too. I think they're pretty common. I think it's called an odorous house ant. It's my house ant. The reason it's called odorous is because if you take one, they're little, and if you squash it, and you won't believe the strength of the smell. It's just a little ant. It's easily squishable, and you're like, wow, it's like this strong ammonia smell, but it's remarkable. Like, it's surprisingly strong. Did I mention that at all? Did I get that across at all? Hey, Kevin, by the way, the only reason I usually have been doing these over there with a bookcase behind me and some other stuff going on, but I was shooting something today and I didn't want to change the camera direction and everything. Cut me some slack, man. You're not my real dad. Kimberly pulled an Albert. Hey, Anna? Oh, Kevin, do you know Anna? Anna, do you know Kevin? Or is he just hitting it? Was that a, hey, Anna? What was the tone there, Kevin? Hey, Anna. Come here often? Longtime streamer, first-time commenter. If you could talk to ants and hear their responses, you'd hate them even more, the arrogant assholes. Is that how you really feel like? Ants arrogant compared to humans even? I don't know. Oh, my head is shiny. I could have probably, how do you like the brightness? Am I too bright? Couldn't I? Oh, damn it. Okay, which do you like better, this or the way it was supposed to be? And now with backlight to separate me from the void. But I kind of like the moodiness of the other. What's your opinion? Denise says, Brian, I've never had this issue before because it's so dry out here in Colorado, but there are little tiny moths in my apartment. What's up with that? I'm killing them as fast as I can. That doesn't work. This doesn't work for me. But moths are so harmless. I mean, are they flying around? Moths are annoying when they're flying around, and but what if they're just somewhere? Oh, Elena Levine got to go, but tell me more later about Rice A. Roney and the roaches. Oh, you guys, she's leaving. You can't let her win the most comments because she's cheating. She's gaming the system. She said it was a hack, and I told her in my world, a hack isn't a cool thing. A hack is an insult to a comedian or artist. But she's hacking the system. Ha, she's lame. Elena patted the vote. Yeah, piss ants. You are in darkness. Yeah, I was almost absorbed by the void. The backlight is better. It's still moody. It looks like I'm a little overexposed, like my face is a little shiny. My face looks too shiny to me. I appreciate the ISIS. Exactly, hold on. Exactly. You expect someone to come up behind me and slice my neck? Throat, not neck. Why does it sound so much different? Like I sliced his neck doesn't sound anything like I sliced his throat. Yeah, I don't want to change anything, but yeah. So today, on the other side, Kevin, you wouldn't believe this, but just on the other side of that black screen, it's a white screen. And actually, I might be able to, I can do this. You get a peek behind the curtains. Oh, hold on. I'll give you a proper peek behind the curtains. Hang on. So, this screen is black on the other side, but behind it is the green screen. You can't tell with the... Put a little light... Oh. No, it all looks kind of dark right now. The lighting isn't right for it, but... Now, hey, in a way, this looks even more like ISIS, doesn't it? I think it does. You know who won't appreciate this behind-the-scenes peek? Our sponsor, String Cheese. They don't like to blow the magic. So, look, here's the microphone hanging right here. There's more that you can't see, but that's more than you did see. Ta-da, the magic. You know what? Is swearing allowed? Yeah. Sometimes it's even encouraged. Here, why not? If you can't swear here, where can you swear, Kimberly? Borrelius and Iridomus are two genera of piss ants. I had pest control out 3 times for those bass turds. That was on purpose. You can swear. Don't fall. Yeah, it's a good thing I did. What if during this time of quarantine and everyone's suspicious of everyone being infected, what if you watched me? What would you even do? None of you live in this state. There's no one here watching in North Carolina, are you? What if you saw me fall and then motionless? What would you do? No one's going to come into this infected biohazard home. Everyone's steering clear. That's where the magic... Yes, Kevin. Well, this is what passes for magic these days. There's not much going on in my life. Some of you are quarantined with other people or pets or both, children even. I don't know what to think of that. I'm holed up here with an occasional ant, my spider friends, and you virtual friends. Yeah. Hey, Science the Optimist, Aaron. What science excites you most today? Please tell us something cool about it. I need some. I'm a little brain dead right now. What do you got, Aaron? What science excites you? And then I'll take that as a leaping off point. ISIS mode. Yeah. Do you have bird seed around or something? I missed why. Do you know how to get rid of them? Oh, bird seed. Well, we have birds. You know what? I'm going to have to find this clip. There's a clip that I should show you. Did I tell you about the squirrel and the bird feeder? It's pretty funny. Not as funny as the one I saw today. Denise, did you share that? A very funny video of a squirrel trying to get to a bird feeder, but I've had one that for a long time that I haven't shared, and it's still in my phone, and it was just outside my window. There's this bird feeder, and this squirrel, he spends a lot of time strategizing, because the thing is, like, I've seen them on it before and it starts swinging and they can't stay on it, but the birds can perch on it real easily, but it's hanging, and he's like trying to figure out how to get down there from the roof. And he comes to the left and comes to the right, and he's angling and angling. And then when he goes for it, it doesn't go well. And he very quickly falls right past it, and you hear a little thunk. But it's not hard. It's just into the dirt or grass. And it doesn't sound like he got hurt, but it's hilarious. All that build up to him just... it's a kind of magic. That's right, Dawn. What would you do if you fell? We'd ask you to talk louder. And I probably would. My 2 four-leggers are standing here looking at me. Denise. Science the Optimist, you're taking a Coursera epidemiology course. Love the curves of epidemics. I can tell you from my interview with my personal virologist, it's very interesting to talk to a scientist and then ask a question that's a little out of their field. It's about this virus, but it's about how it's playing out. And she defers and like what the expectations are. And there are people who specialize in making mathematical models and that's a little outside their field. So it's always interesting to ask someone something and hear them talking about the experts they defer to. And there was something about how the farther out the predictions are, the less accurate they are. They don't like to try to project too far. But I think that the estimates, and actually some of this came from her and some came from a really interesting interview I watched with a great infectious disease guy, Dr. Peter Hotez, who we were trying to get through Sigma Xi. I reached out to him to see if we could interview him because he's connected to Sigma Xi. He was at their last conference, as I was. And he's really good, but he's in kind of high demand. He was being interviewed by Joe Rogan, and if you look for that, it's a really good interview. I think he says that they expect the United States to peak during April, but not for another week or two. But parts of the United States will not peak until May. And he was talking about Texas, where he is. He's in Houston. He's at Baylor College of Medicine, Albert and Susan. So, like, the expectation is things are going to get worse for a while. But maybe it'll peak then. And I think that the virologist I interviewed thinks that the social distancing and lockdowns and everything we've done have been positive. I haven't followed the numbers that carefully. I was, and then I just, too much. So some days I'm taking in limited news. Oh, I missed that. You said you'd miss me if I fell. Well, you could try to help, you know. Anna's taking off. I have to gear up and do the wash in my building's laundry room. Okay, good luck. Keep yourself safe. Maybe she's already gone. Watch the Mission Impossible squirrel video on YouTube. Is it, well, you should see, Denise, was that you? Did you post that today? Where this thing is swinging around. Oh, hold on. I only brought my water part of the way. Oh, you know what? Oh. There are times with this camera on autofocus where I've stepped into the shot and it does this very trippy, it's way out of focus, it's looking for a focus somewhere else, and then it sort of slowly hones in on me, and it looks very like in a science fiction way, like you're moving through dimensions or something, or appearing, moving through time. It gets like, or being the transporter in Star Trek or something, because it just gets, it's weirdly fuzzy, and I look like a weird blob, and then it coalesces into me. But I can't make it happen when I want to, but it happens randomly. Mark, you're still working, so not 100% attentive. Well, you know what? I'm not 100% attentive. Why should you be? That's me expecting a lot. Kevin, what music is playing in the background? It's this music that I can use without paying any money. Do you have something to say about it? Is it too loud or anything? Because I did not test the relative levels tonight, but it's just some mellow music by this guy. Is it Kevin MacLeod? Ken MacLeod? Kevin? His name's in the description of the video, I think. Should be. I never did check over here. Oh, where is this video? How come I don't see it on my Facebook page? There it is. Appearing, moving through time. Oh, just lagging a little bit behind. So, check out the delay on this. His name's in the description of the video, I think. So that just came around for me. I don't know how long a delay that was. But if you're watching on Facebook, looks like somebody is, come on over to YouTube. That's where all this chatting is actually happening for the most part. And I'm trying to build up my YouTube channel, so, and it's just better there, and it's more fun, unless you're just browsing Facebook or Periscope. Then just stay where you are. That's fine. Don't bother. So yeah, the music level's okay. It's not too loud. Sounds like someone is getting a massage in the room. Yeah. I like how you've taken this to, it looks like the ISIS home movie productions. Someone's getting a massage in the next room. Are you here to get your head cut off, or are you here for a massage? Room 3, sorry. Shit, that was close. Okay, Dawn, now you're going. I thought you already had left, but good night, Dawn. Thanks for staying up so late. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3:30. Get some sleep. She's in the UK. So yeah, science. Science or books. I brought some Brodigan books. I mean, technically I brought them here days ago and I put them over here and I just never did get back to them. Myron Glenn is watching on Facebook. Myron, why don't you come over to the dark side? Come to youtube.com/Science Comedian. Come subscribe to my YouTube channel. Did my voice just do that Bobby Brady thing? When it's time to change. Come on. We pretty much all remember that, right? Everyone in this room. Come on, Myron. You're needed over here. Okay. Oops. I didn't plan a lot tonight. Even compared to how little I've planned on previous nights. Even by that metric, I didn't plan much. My head has been in the virus interview. Talked to my neighbors a little bit. Net Reamer, this show is much funnier with a professional comic in the audience. Thanks, Kevin. Net Reamer, did you guys ever meet? So there's another one. Kevin was on my show 20 years ago as well. You might remember Net Reamer David. He was an old friend of mine, David Valansky. Back in the... Oh, I just outed you. David. Do I have to delete that from the file? Was that a secret? Now people know both your Clark Kent and your Superman identities? Damn it. I'm sorry I failed to keep your secret. Now I hear the Mission Impossible theme song again. Brodigan, you are so fine, I would walk 10 miles on a snowy morning to stand in your shit. Is that a Brodigan poem? Richard Brodigan? Are you familiar with him, Aaron? Or were you here the other night when I shared some of my favorite sentences? Because I totally brought something else. But other than that, I think we can keep tonight a short night, right? Bad. Kevin, have you read the tweets by Stakem about using facts and data instead of anecdotal information? I'm not lying, they're hilarious. You should find them. No, but you know what? Is it by Stakem? Is it like a brand? Because there have been a couple sort of corporate brand Twitter accounts that have been surprising. The Netflix account, have you seen, like, they're real smart alecky. I've seen that with a couple others, like pretty smart alecky. Yeah, Richard Brodigan. So here's one for you. This is, oh, how weird. Why can't, does that look black to you? This is totally green. What's going on? Hold on a second. What does this look like to you? Huh. Something really bizarre is happening. Yeah. See how this makes no sense. Whoops. If I got closer, see how this book is green with black letters. But when it's back here on this screen, I see everything that's green looks black. All right, I know that's fascinating, but it's freaking me out because this is It's a light, bright green, and it looks black. And it makes no sense to me. All right, so, Aaron, you have to tell me, because it means a lot to me, how much Richard, what do you know about Richard Brautigan, and how much? Because I need to know. And then I got to find this opening sentence of Pacific Radio Fire. I remember reading him in high school. Wow, I came to him really late. I heard a lot of people got into him in college. I came to him way after that. Blue dress, brown dress. Exactly. Yes, book title's all black. You wouldn't believe the color green. I would turn another light on it. It's so strange. This shirt is showing up as the proper color. This makes no sense. Huh. You think that quote was from Trout Fishing in America? Do you have a green screen on with a black background where green is... You know what? No. Well... No, because then in front of my face, it wouldn't be black right here. It would be you would see my face through there. Do you? Maybe you do, actually. I did have something. That is possible. Because this is the setup that I would... Oh! And maybe that's why the green screen didn't really look green earlier when I showed you a little of it. I can't turn that off. Let me look at the property. Filters. Yes. Good call, David. That's exactly what it was. Oh my God, that explains so much. Holy shit. That explains so much. So this is the same set. I've had that filter on even when I was shooting against the bookcase. And that's been having an effect on some things. Thanks. See, I wasn't kidding. It's fucking green. Revenge of the Lord. Netreamer, good call. It's been on ever since I set it up. So that's interesting. It's automatic. See, I'm used to like going into Final Cut Pro, you throw the effect on, you activate it, you turn it on and off, make it visible or invisible. Here, I set it up, I use the green screen, and it never occurred to me that I'm using the same scene. Scene 1 is this same setup. Wow. So, how about this? Let's see what this does. Hold on. Let's turn it back on for a sec. And let's do that. What? A little bit of that trippy blue stuff is coming through. There's black. And that chroma background should have been there, but all right. Wow, that's good to know. I should have turned this off a long time ago, and now it is. Thank you, sir. Green. Kevin McCarthy says, hi, everybody. Has the pandemic taught us how to live online? Is the banana still radioactive? This is a different oh! And where it was green or yellow, it was showing as black. I was shooting in a different direction, but still, like, I would just have to check what layer was underneath there. But, oh my God. See, that explained the banana thing the other day. Holy crap. Mind blown, David. Denise, say hi to... Denise says, everyone, Denise brought a friend, Kevin McCarthy. Say hi, Kevin. Kevin said hi to Kevin. Lots of blue. Oh, boy. Thank you. So, okay, Aaron, are you still there? In this collection of little pieces, I don't even think of them as short stories because, like, some of them, they're just these little pastiches, these little moments or these little... It's hard to say what they are, but I don't know if they're all stories, but this one might be Pacific Radio Fire, and some of them are like this. This one is that long, but there's a really short one in here. But how's this for an opening sentence? Pacific Radio Fire. The largest ocean in the world starts or ends at Monterey, California. It depends on what language you are speaking. My friend's wife had just left him. She walked right out the door and didn't even say goodbye. We went and got 2/5 of port and headed for the Pacific. It's an old song that's been played on all the jukeboxes in America. The song has been around so long that it's been recorded on the very dust of America, and it has settled on everything and changed chairs and cars and toys and lamps and windows into billions of phonographs to play that song back into the ear of our broken heart. That's the kind of sentence that only Richard Brodigan writes. Play that song back into the ear of our broken heart. We sat down on a small corner-like beach surrounded by big granite rocks and the hugeness of the Pacific Ocean with all its vocabularies. We were listening to rock and roll on his transistor radio and somberly drinking port. We were both in despair. I didn't know what he was going to do with the rest of his life either. I took another sip of port. The Beach Boys were singing a song about California girls on the radio. They liked them. His eyes were wet, wounded rags. Like some kind of strange vacuum cleaner, I tried to console him. I recited the same old litanies that you say to people when you try to help their broken hearts, but words can't help at all. It's just the sound of another human voice that makes the only difference. There's nothing you're ever gonna say that's going to make anybody happy when they're feeling shitty about losing somebody that they love. Finally, he set fire to the radio. He piled some paper around it. He struck a match to the paper. We sat there watching it. I had never seen anybody set fire to a radio before. As the radio gently burned away, the flames began to affect the songs we were listening to. A record that was number 1 on the top 40 suddenly dropped to number 13 inside of itself. A song that was number 9 became number 27 in the middle of a chorus about loving somebody. They tumbled in popularity like broken birds. Then it was too late for all of them. Richard Brodigan. Is that a story? What is that? NetReamer says green screen processing was also draining CPU. Maybe, but the CPU, it's never been drained. It's always hovering around 30%. Is the goal of these live streams to bore everyone to death? David, there's so many parts that you could be referring to, and fuck you anyway. First of all, let's get that out of the way. And second of all, if any of it has to do with this, it's just because I was shooting stuff today and I didn't want to turn back to the bookshelf. That's just black. And if it's the rest of this, well, sometimes you have to call a banana a banana. I don't know why that was your... Kimberly loves our hangouts. There was funnier stuff before. Hey, Kevin, are you still out there? Look who entered. 2 men enter, 1 man leave. Or something more grammatically accurate. Kevin, are you still out there? We have motherfucking David Spark on the line. Spark, you know what Kevin I'm talking to? Kevin Kadoka was here probably until I got to that part about the Beach Boys, who he loves. Yeah, so many parts that could be referred. Which one bores me? That's such a difficult decision. Spark, you're not a supporter. What's the opposite of an athletic supporter? You're not a Mr. Kevin Cafe Mocha, yeah. I think he probably saw you sign on and he bailed. Combination of whatever I was doing and you show up. Oh, there he is! Jesus Christ, look what's happening here. Should we get a coffee or some hot chocolate from that place, I think in the Haight? No, let's go get a slice of Escape from New York pizza. Hey, Kevin. Oh, man, you guys, you have to forgive me, and I wish I could hear this. Oh, no, I don't have a definition of science. That's too hard, sciencey. Hey, Kevin, I know that Styx was never a big band of yours, but, I liked them in high school and college and stuff, like way back then. And so I saw, you all have to forgive me. I saw this ad, and can I turn the sound up? Hold on. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can tweak this without you having to see it. I think I can. Right here. Properties. Oh, no. Does that mean I just do hear it? Okay. I probably won't be able to hear this, but Kevin, check this out. On Instagram, I saw this ad for Styx coming here August 2nd, and it's cracked me up so much that, all that talk about August 2nd, it might have been last August 2nd. I've had this in my camera roll for a while, but this ad for Styx cracked me up.
Styx.
Light it up, let's get this show on the road.
Live in 2020. Tommy, JY, Lawrence, Ricky,
Todd, Chuck, what? Who the fuck are Ricky and Todd and Lawrence? These are not members of Styx. Jesus Christ. It's JY, that's James Young, Tommy, and then it just goes off the rails. Theodore, Alvin, and Todd. These are not members of Styx. It was so bizarre. It would be like if you started listening the Beach Boys with Dennis and Brian and Philip and Enrique and Freddie. And then they throw one more in for you. Oh, I'm coughing. I have 14 days. Kevin says, FYI, everyone, Brian's the only person who has something to say about early ambrosia. Are you referring to some specific conversation we ever had? Because there is an early ambrosia song called Nice, Nice, Very Nice. So many people in the same device. And what's remarkable about it is if you had the 45 or saw it and you looked at who wrote the song, it has members of the band and then the last name Vonnegut, because they took the lyrics right out of a Kurt Vonnegut book. I wonder, it seems like it would be Cat's Cradle. Oh, it totally is. It's like the second page of Cat's Cradle, and it says, it's talking about these like religious books, the books of Bakonin, and he says, in his 53rd Calypso, Bakonin invites us to sing along with him. Oh, a sleeping drunkard up in Central Park, and a lion hunter in the jungle dark, and a Chinese dentist and a British queen all fit together in the same machine. Nice, nice, very nice. Nice, nice, very nice. Nice, nice, very nice. So many different people in the same device. I think they changed it a little. But I could be misremembering. But yeah, I was like, what the hell? And then one day when I read this, I saw that in there, and it all made sense. Kurt Vonnegut didn't write a song with Ambrosia. They wrote a song with him, but I don't know what I don't even know. He didn't have much to do with it. He didn't sit there in the writer's room helping them craft it. But, oh, David, you're right. Spark says, I had lunch with Kevin the last time I was in LA with him and Tony Kameen. Wow. That must have been awesome for you, David. If I had a picture, you're right. If I had taken a nice, and I could have done this, I could have taken a picture of the bookcase, and I could have used the green screen tonight, and just duplicated that look. Oh, now you say it. It's almost not even too late, except it's not well lit. It wouldn't work that well right now. Hydroxychloroquine. You know what? I asked my virologist friend yesterday in the interview, and I also saw that other guy I mentioned, Dr. Peter Hotez, in an interview with Joe Rogan, speak to it. And they're not as excited as the Trump family and people, you know, bloggers are. Because on the one hand, you try anything you have. Like, here's a drug. It is relatively safe for humans. You know, sometimes it's like, well, you have malaria, so whatever, I don't know, it's like, it's safer than that. It doesn't necessarily mean, you know, drugs have side effects. But I don't know anything specifically about this one. But I think that they both think that so far there's not convincing evidence that it's effective against this. Both of them sort of said that it may very well turn out to be effective, but they haven't seen convincing evidence. And this Dr. Hotez mentioned another case. It was one of these other viruses where they had something that looked very promising. And, oh, it's because in the lab, that's what it was. It was effective in the lab, I think, in vitro. But he's not going to get too excited about that yet until they have clinical trials in humans because we won't get fooled again. It happened before where there's like, it worked in the lab, but it never did pan out for actual humans. So I don't know that much about it personally, but that's what these two experts have said. They're not holding, but as far as like, you know, ultimately a vaccine is the ideal. But in the meantime, there are things that already exist that they could throw at it, and then they're working on other stuff. So I don't know any more specifics about it, though. Early Ambrosia. Brian, everyone, my friend Kevin knows who the previous bass player in the Touring Sticks, Glenn is his name. Oh, you mean there was a Glenn that I don't even, and now he's been replaced? How many rotating members of Styx are there? I think Styx is kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters. And it really doesn't matter. Didn't Curly or somebody, Kevin and David, who out there ever saw the Harlem Globetrotters live in concert? I did, at least once. With Meadowlark Lemon. Any news on the iron toxicity from the virus? No, I'm sorry, I don't have that one. I missed that one, Kimberly. I had such a long talk. I asked her so many questions. Are you an Anthony Fauci fan? Sure. I mean, I never heard of him until, you know what, a week or two ago. But he seems super cool. I've seen him in several interviews. I saw Trevor Noah interview him. It's pretty good. And then I saw Trevor Noah also interviewed Bill Gates, and that was an interesting, kind of long interview, but it was good. Curly Neal, yeah, he just died, didn't he? Denise, you saw the Harlem Globetrotters in New York. Poor Whittle Fauci never had what? Oh, what? Did he get, what do you mean he never had a chance? You're not telling me, no, I would have gotten a New York Times update or something if Fauci was out. What are you talking about? You just mean he's not front and center at all of these, right? And instead that other one, Burks, she's always around. Oh, that sounds vaguely familiar, Kevin. Kadoka, you say that you love Meadowlark Lemon's cameo in Modern Romance, the Albert Brooks film, which you guys, if you need some funny stuff to watch, are you familiar with the early films of Albert Brooks and the early music of Ambrosia? It's a great combination. In fact, if you play Modern Romance with the sound off and start it at the exact same time as you start the Ambrosia album, I don't know the names of the albums. There's a limit to how much I can talk about the early Ambrosia, Kevin. Was that just a random... Did you just pluck that name out randomly, or do you recall anything about us talking about Ambrosia? I demand you answer me. Oh, hey, Doc Barham. Hey, Doc, dude. Come on over to the dark side. There's a bunch of chatting, and in fact, come on, Doc Barham. David Spark and Kevin Kataoka. There's a couple comedians here, but here's my channel. It's youtube.com. Damn it. Damn you, mirror imaging. youtube.com/Science Comedian right there. Come over. I'm Science Comedian on YouTube. You can find me, man. How are you doing, Doc, wherever you are? Doc's not that far. He's in Virginia. Spark says, yes, Styx is like the Harlem Globetrotters. Their biggest hit is Come Sail Away, Sweet Georgia Brown. What's the silliest conspiracy theory about the... Oh, well... Hey, does anyone here know about... Well, okay, first of all... Well, you've been seeing this. We talked about it a little bit recently, that 5G cell phone radiation activated the virus. That it's genetically engineered and was either released on purpose or it escaped, like the Andromeda strain, from a Chinese lab, from a level 5 clean room or something. Some Michael Crichton. We're just living. We thought it was a Stephen King story. Could be a Michael Crichton story. Everything's under control, and then it all goes to hell. Oh, thanks, Doc. I've been shooting with a bookcase behind me, but I had to shoot something, and I didn't want to rearrange everything because I need this other background for something I did today and tomorrow. But thank you. It's a little weird. Just me and the abyss. Doc, our sponsor tonight is String Cheese. If you like string theory, and I know you probably do, and dairy products, which you could... I don't know how you feel about that, Doc. String Cheese is really the only cheese for you. They've been sponsoring these streams, whether they like it or not, or know it or not. Maxi Pad, Mark says, I don't know. It looks like a pad, Mark. Meadowlark used to shoot hoops at the JCC. Well, was he living in Houston? Where were the Harlem Globetrotters based? What was Meadowlark doing? Did he retire to Houston? So, Kevin, Meadowlark Lemon has a cameo in Modern Romance, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has that cameo in Airplane. And then there's O.J. Simpson, if we want to jump sports. I'm coughing a little bit. Maybe I got too close to one of my neighbors outside. Shit. If it happens, I guess I'll stream even more. Document all these end days. I'll try to show you all my shit, one thing at a time, before I go down. I have 14 days till the symptoms really kick in. Maximum. On average, 5 to 7. Shit. I better hurry. Abe Saperstein created the Globetrotters. Scottsdale? What? The Globetrotters are from? You once brought up, at the JCC. I thought you were talking about our JCC. So Meadowlark retired to Scottsdale, Arizona. Kevin, you once brought up how you liked an early Ambrosia song to me and Jim Short, and we never heard anyone else say that before. I don't even know if that's... Let's take a look real quick. Oh my God, if you Google Ambrosia, the band is not the first thing that comes up. I wish I could, I'm going to have to fix my setup or I should be showing you what I pull up, but it's that fruit. It's Alton Brown. The first hit is Alton Brown's recipe for ambrosia at thefoodnetwork.com. Oh my God, that's not, how do you make ambrosia? What about early ambrosia? Come on. And then even above that is, below that is Wikipedia's entry on the ancient Greek myths. Ambrosia is the food or drink of the gods. Oh, wow. So I wonder if you Google Kansas, how far down it is before they come up. And if you Google, maybe it says something. You don't get ambrosia at all. The band, the group, those are ready to autofill. Okay, their big hits were later. That's how much I feel for you, and you're the biggest part of me. But those are these older, like, I don't know how old, late 70s or early 80s. But there was this old song, I Keep Holding On to Yesterday. You remember that one, right? I keep holding on to yesterday. That was an earlier 70s song, and You're the Only Woman. I'm not sure if that's the one I think. It says, I don't think this is accurate. Ambrosia currently tours internationally and has worked in the past and present with Leonard Bernstein, Kurt Vonnegut, Alan Parsons, Bruce Hornsby, Bill Champlin, Michael McDonald, and Peter Beckett. That's almost like, when you're not famous as a comedian, your intro when they bring you on stage often mentions the famous people you've worked with. It's like, he's worked with all these people. That's a way of saying that he's really nobody, because you get it. So same thing. It's like Ambrosia has worked with Kurt Vonnegut and Leonard Bernstein and Alan Parsons and Bruce Hornsby. You know what I mean? But I'm not really mocking him. I Want It, Rise to Fame. Where's the bit about? Their version of Magical Mystery Tour was a top 40 hit. For the documentary All This and World War II in 1976. And biggest part of me, that's like 80. Come on, where's the Kurt Vonnegut part? Rise to Fame, Later Years. Give us the Vonnegut. Okay. The first album, Ambrosia auditioned for Herb Alpert and A&M Records early in their history, but they were signed by 20th Century Fox. They did 2 albums. Ambrosia, 75, had Holding On to Yesterday and Nice, Nice, Very Nice. The latter sets to music the lyrics to a poem in Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle. Nominated for a Grammy, Best Engineered Recording. Alan Parsons was the engineer for their first album and producer for their second. Alan Parsons gets around. Do y'all know that old song, Magic by Pilot? Whoa, ho, ho, it's magic. That was off key. Never believe it's not so. That one, it's magic. That song and album were produced by Alan Parsons. And people that were in that band Pilot would later be in the Alan Parsons Project years later. It's very incestuous. But Alan Parsons gets around. He engineered one of their albums and produced another. For all we know, it was at Abbey Road Studio. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, David Pack. All 4 members of Ambrosia also... Shit. All 4 members of Ambrosia played on the first Alan Parsons Project album, Tales of Mystery and Imagination. It's a Edgar Allan Poe themed album. And it was recorded soon after Ambrosia's first album. And David Pack later appeared on another Alan Parsons album, Try Anything Once, co-writing and playing and singing on 3 songs. So look at all the connections. Look what you made me discover about myself, Kevin. You want to, oh yeah. If you're coughing today, your exposure was a few days ago. When was that grocery delivery? A few days ago, and I still haven't returned the crap that I don't want. Including the non-substitute, my delivery person was wearing a mask. It was a Frankenstein mask. It was a Donald Trump mask. Kevin says, were there any stories about the Globetrotters losing? First-hand accounts. I once read there were games in the past where they would lose, but I think it was long, long ago. Yeah, you can't have them lose. Alan Parsons, says Bill, is a Magic fan. He hangs out at the Magic Shop when he's in town. Nice guy. You've met him? That's cool. He's interesting. And I had these early Alan Parsons albums. I had Tales of Mystery and Imagination. I don't think I knew it as well. But then there's an album called I, Robot, and I really got into that album. It has a few really good songs. It also, I think it might be an opening instrumental that's not unlike something off of Dark Side of the Moon, which is an album he produced for Pink Floyd. But there's some really good stuff on there. There's a couple really beautiful songs. So tonight we have dropped no frames. Is everything in sync? If you have a drink, drink it. Are we in sync? Their last loss was 1971. Crazy. Well, yeah. Maybe we're going to call it an early night because there's stuff I want to get done, and I really want to. I'm on the about to have a new batch of virus-related videos coming out, but I have a lot of work to do on them. So, Kevin, what are things like in LA these days? Give me a little LA update since we last talked. Are you going outside at all? Are you staying in? What's it like out there? The streets of LA. It's in sync? Good. I've had issues. The reason I ask is I've had weird sync issues. Sometimes it's out of sync on replay for some reason, even though it was fine when it was live. So, yeah, like usually I'm not here against this abyss. I kind of liked how I didn't have the backlight and I just sort of blended into the abyss. Something about coming from dust and going back to the dust and angel dust and dust in the wind and Jesus, do you ever dust in here? I have allergies, damn you. Oh, Kevin, sorry. Shoot, close your eyes for 1 second. Hey, Kevin. Everyone else watching probably already saw this yesterday, but on Instagram, a friend of mine another Brian May and Queen fanatic and stereo photographer. Hold on. Kevin said that we're inside in LA, but I yearn to drive the freeways for that Omega Man, I Am Legend vibe. Yeah! Like, is there already grass coming up through cracks everywhere? Have you seen in some parts of the world, in some cities, there's like some wild animals have been walking through because the cities are a little more deserted and they're by areas where maybe they sort of border on areas where some sort of local creatures are. So, hey, Kevin, the other funny thing, so what happened is, like a week ago, I went off on that Styx ad and about who these members are and who the fuck is Todd. And so there's been for days talking about Todd and mocking and the fact that Todd and Lawrence and Ricky, and it's like, who are they? These aren't members. Are they in, maybe they're in sync or something, but they're not in Styx. Turns out, like, a couple of the guys have been in the band 15, 20 years. I think maybe someone's been in since 1995, but I haven't been following them. And I can't believe that much time's gone by. So some of these, it's like, it's hilarious to me. So my friend, in a private message on Instagram, sends me this thing, and it's from the Styx Instagram account, and it says, Tommy, Lawrence, Ricky, and Todd want to hear from you, so leave your comments below. I mean, it's funny because Tommy's there, but not JY, James Young, and not Chuck, the other original Chuck Panazzo. But so she showed me, and she said, what's your question for Styx? So I showed her what my question for Styx would be. My question for Styx, and I said would be, longtime Styx fan, could you please tell me who the fuck are Lawrence, Ricky, and Todd? Thank you guys, rock on. And then how come JY and Chuck don't want to hear from us? That was like a separate message. I sent those to her, and then I had something else to tell her. And I looked at our DM, and that message wasn't there because I had sent the message to Styx. She had sent me, I thought she had sent me a screen cap of this. I thought it was a screen cap, but it was actually like she was sharing their Instagram story with me. And I didn't type it in that field. If I had typed it in that field, it would have been irretrievable. But it turns out, but I did send it to them. And when I went over to their page and looked, it was like a private message that I had sent to them going, who the fuck are, and those are the guys that are going to be on the answering the questions. But Instagram private messaging has a feature which is you can unsend a message that you've sent. And I unsent it before it was seen. So that's a little anticlimactic. But I did send that to Styx. And then I was joking that Todd probably also has to, he probably plays bass and also has to run the Instagram account. Doc says, glad to see you like Vonnegut. You met him on a plane to Dayton, Ohio when I was headed to work at Wiley's? He lived in Indianapolis. I was going to say Cleveland, but Indianapolis. Oh, that's awesome. Doc, I'm sure back in the day we talked about it because I've been a big Vonnegut fan for a long time. And Cat's Cradle is one great one, and Slaughterhouse-Five, of course. And I love Breakfast of Champions and Sirens of Titan. The Sirens of Titan is more of a science fiction novel, but very quirky and funny. And oh, it's so good. And some others, Hocus Pocus or Galapagos. There's one, Kevin, there's one called Slapstick that I really liked. And it was turned into one of the worst movies ever made called Slapstick of Another Kind or Slapstick of a Different Kind. And it's horrible, and it has Jerry Lewis and Madeline Kahn. It's nothing like the book. Like the characters, there's nothing there. It is not the tone of the book or anything. It's terrible. One of the worst. Science the Optimist. Aaron says, I'm editing a video of a cop about conducting interviews in a 6x6 room these days. Ooh, yeah. Look, you got to interrogate them outside. Good night, everyone. Good night, Mark. Brian, you need another scorecard for how many times each of us has heard the Styx story. I know, but Kevin hadn't heard it, and Kevin, I would say the same about early Styx. Early Styx. There's a song. Hey, Kevin, did you know that Bob Rubin is going to have a Netflix special coming out next month? Yeah, I think it's in May. But Bob and I both love this pretty obscure. It's so old that it Styx before Tommy Shaw. So it's like the incarnation that I'm saying is Styx. It's actually before that because they had another guy, John Kruzlewski or something, before they had Tommy Shaw. And there's this song, but Dennis DeYoung and James Young were in the band. And I don't know if the Panazzo brothers were. I don't even know. But there's a song called 22 Years that's just sort of a bluesy rock song that's really catchy. And Bob Rubin and I both like it. He sang it once at the Punchline. He has a great voice. He loves to sing. So anyway, why don't we wrap it up? We got Styx, we got Ambrosia. We got Alan Parsons. We got Kurt Vonnegut. I'm running dry, and you guys are. Oh no, not an early Styx story. Kevin, I saw them 3 times. The first time they really rocked. It was Pieces of 8. But yeah, that early stuff. That was after that I started to fade from them. But early on they had some cool stuff. And they were really good live. They had 3 vocalists. They harmonized well together. I liked that album, with Come Sail Away, their breakthrough album, The Grand Illusion. Netreamer said, I just heard a music competition that was fun. Best second song from a one-hit wonder. I'll tell you one that failed. There's a band I like, The Knack. The Knack's first album and the big hit, My Sharona, they hit really big. And me and my friend David Yaffe, another old Texas friend, we saw them on their big first tour, and they were so good live. Years later, I would see them in a small club in Austin. We saw them at a theater in Houston. Years later, when they had, long ago peaked, I saw them at a little club in Austin, and they looked completely different, but they had that Beatles look, just like if you knew the Knack album, the back of it, there was this picture, it was all white behind them, and they were dressed in little suits, or white work shirts and little ties. They had a very Beatlesque look and sound to a lot of their songs. And that first big hit was My Sharona. They had a couple other, songs that got play from that album. Good Girls Don't, But I Do. Good Girls Don't. And She's So Selfish. But their next album was a really good album. Tons of great songs. And Kevin, little Beatlesque pop songs, really catchy stuff. But the song they released as a single was probably my least favorite song on the album. It was called Baby Talks Dirty. This is not really an answer to your competition because this seemed like just a mistake. It was one of my least favorite songs on the album. And the thing about it, though, it had a rhythm that was a little reminiscent of My Sharona. And I think this was just that's the same. I was like, God, anything else on there would have been better. Their second album, But the Little Girls Understand. And then I had their third album, which went a little jazzier. It had a slightly different sound. And no single that I remember. Oh, wow. The winner was Wall of Voodoo's Ring of Fire. So Wall of Voodoo and Stan Ridgway went on to have a really interesting solo career. And then the guy that replaced him as singer in Wall of Voodoo, he also went on to have an interesting solo career. And Kevin, it's Andy Preboy. Just recently, I saw again for the first time in years on YouTube this clip of Conan O'Brien introducing Andy Preboy and a couple friends of ours playing his one song from his rock opera called White Trash Wins Lotto, and it's the Axl Rose story, right? Did you ever see it? Because I saw Greg Behrendt and I saw Blaine Capatch, and I don't even know. And I saw that guy who I don't know. I think Craig Anton was in it, but I don't know him. And you probably knew a bunch of other people in the band. I saw some other familiar faces, but I don't remember if they're people I know. But that was really fun. So Netreamer, yeah, Wall of Voodoo's first hit was Mexican radio. I'm on the Mexican radio. And yeah, I mean, I don't remember next, but was Ring of Fire. Yeah, their cover of Ring of Fire is kind of cool. He has this quirky voice. But Stan Ridgway, I really got into him later too. Some early Wall of Voodoo, and then his solo career. In fact, you know what's an album that I listened to this album so obsessively for a while, and it was so nice to drive to. It's a Stan Ridgway album called Mosquitoes. And I just love it. And each song is like a little story, almost Beatlesque. Not like the music sounds like the Beatles, but the songs, so many of them are like, some of them are first person from the point of view of a character. And some of them are third person about characters, like Beatles songs can be. And I saw him live a couple times. I saw him once at South by Southwest in Austin, and I saw him once in San Francisco, I think at the, at a club south of Market. It might have been Slim's and it was so good. And I have a set list somewhere from that show, and I had him sign it. And he's one of the few musicians that I had obsessed on this. This was a couple albums after this album that I love. And it was one of those where I was able to tell an artist how much I liked his music, how much I liked that album, I think, or just maybe I said his music. I don't remember the exact conversation, but Kevin, you saw that Pre-Boy show at Largo. It was fun, and a lot of people you know on stage. Yeah, well, on Conan, I saw Blaine, and I saw Greg, and Craig Anton. Were you to do a video about the science of music? The science of music. All I know are some of the trivial details of music, and entirely different ones than my friend Kevin knows. That's a funny thing, like Kevin... A friend of mine the other day, local, said that he watched a stream or two, and he didn't realize I knew so much about music and all this. But, you know, I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge, encyclopedic knowledge of it's not vast, it's very narrow. You know, in certain very narrow areas, I know a lot about just these bands. The rest of it, I don't know crap about. But the science of music, yeah, that could be interesting. You know, interestingly, Aaron, if that is your real name, today I followed someone on Twitter who I'd heard of, and I stumbled upon a tweet by Daniel Levitin, who is the guy to talk to about the science of music. I think he has a lot of books on that very subject, and he's really into music, and I think one of his books is Your Brain on Music, might be a title of his. So coincidentally, I do think that's an interesting subject, and it's really about the brain in music, I think. And he's been on my radar for a long time. I've never read his books, but I've been aware that he existed, and I just followed him on Twitter today. And I thought, that would be interesting. Maybe he would be cool to interview. Google says that Tori Amos sang backup for Stan Ridgway on that Mosquito. No way. Can you find out what song? At the Wikipedia page for the album, that information should be there if it's true. Tori Amos? How would I not know that? I love that Stan Ridgway album. It was so cool to drive to. It just has a nice vibe, and the songs are kind of funny, quirky, but some of them are a little different from that. There's a song at the end that my friend Craig and I really like a lot called Mission in Life that's piano-based, and I don't know, it's a little more poignant, but some are pretty funny. Is there a musical aspect to comedy? Timing? You know, for some people, look at George Carlin. George Carlin's delivery. You know, what I like about Carlin is he's a wordsmith. The words are crafted, and then there's also his delivery. His delivery, there's nothing spontaneous. Like Louis C.K. and Mark Maron are two people that give the appearance of being very spontaneous. They seem, I think that maybe they have the ability to be spontaneous, no doubt, but their acts are so well written, you know that they're not really being as off the cuff as they sound. But that's their delivery, is very natural and off the cuff, sounds very spontaneous. Whereas George Carlin, and no judgment here, neither one of these is better than the other. They're exceptional at that, and George Carlin's exceptional at his delivery. No sense of spontaneity at all. It's sing-songy and musical. It goes up and down. It's very dramatic, and it's very designed and calculated, and you know what I love that George Carlin does is it's a rhetorical device. He repeats phrases a lot, like this joke about God, where he says that something about this is not the work of a supreme being, and he goes either there is no God, or something about that gets this phrase. He goes, or he just doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't give a fuck. And he does it a lot. He'll say a phrase and he repeats it. And it's a great rhetorical device. He uses it really well. I like it. I'm a little jealous. Homemade chicken pot pie. Either way, that sounds good right now. Wait, where did that come from? Kevin, where did you get homemade chicken pot pie? I see here writing about Tori Amos. Was that all the way back up? And whatever happened to you, Doc Barham? Did I lose you on the trip to YouTube? Yummy Marie Callender's. It sounds incredible. Kevin, I made rice-a-roni today. I still have some. It was pretty good. A blast from the past. But anyway, I succeeded in chasing David Spark away, it appears. All I had to do was not be very interesting. And you know who's not going to win the chats today are Susan and Albert. Where the hell are they? It looks like Kimberly and Denise all the way. Is there a difference between education and entertainment? Aaron. Okay, wait. Kevin says Denise brought it up. I might eat chicken pot pies again during this stay-at-home order. Why, did you swear yourself off them? Where you're like, never again! Never! It would have to be an extraordinary situation before I eat pot pies again, said Kevin Kataoka in 1997. 23 years later, the virus struck. And Kevin's eating chicken pot pies again. Stay at home and eat chicken pot pie. Hey, Aaron, the Sciencey Optimist. I've often talked about the spectrum between education and entertainment in my science communication talks to scientists, because they, I don't have to teach anyone anything. If I'm being a comedian, I don't have to teach anyone anything. I just have to be funny. I'm not doing it right now, to quote an old Jake Johansson bit. But you know what I mean? Like scientists have to educate. They have, like if a scientist is giving a talk, and that's what I'm advising them on, they actually have to, present. I don't. I can just be silly. Or teach them something or not. But there's definitely a spectrum there. But I like to have a little of both. Hey, Kevin, do you know that I tell an anecdote about you and me in my science communication talks often. I don't name you because it's an irrelevant detail in this context. But I've often said on this topic, when I give these science communication talks to scientists about giving public talks, sometimes I talk about this, my path to getting there, and how I've always been, there's this spectrum that I'm somewhere in between, that like comedian, but there's something of the teacher in me, and that, and one time, I just say this anecdote. I say, one time I told a comedian friend of mine, you, Kevin, it was you, Kevin. One time I told a comedian friend of mine, Kevin Katsuoka, a new joke that I just written. And his reaction was, your jokes have more information in them than most comedians' jokes. And I took that as a compliment, no matter how it was intended, is what I say. And it's just about the fact that that although I thought about becoming a scientist, here's what sometimes I go, I thought about becoming a scientist, but apparently that's not enough. You have to take the classes and get the degree. I just thought about it. But I became a comedian instead. But there's something of the teacher in me. So all that stuff, sometimes I talk about that in my talks, and I have often told this anecdote and been thinking about you. So there. What are you going to do about it? It's too late. Anyway, that's part of the past. That was a time when humanity used to meet in groups. Sometimes just to hear someone play music or tell jokes or something. Pretty frivolous and hard to imagine these days, huh? Well, don't worry, that's not happening ever again. What do you think they're going to turn all the sports stadiums into? What are they going to turn all the concert halls into? I don't care what they turn your favorite concert hall into, because you know what they did to mine? Let me tell you what they did to mine. Growing up in Houston, Texas, we used to go to a place called the Summit. I saw Queen with Freddie Mercury twice there, from the front row one time and from the 6th row the other time. I saw probably Styx and Kansas, my first big concert, with Cheap Trick opening. Kansas, Point of No Return, Dust in the Wind. Opening band, we're just hearing about them. Cheap Trick, Surrender was a new song. Technically the first band I saw in concert. Not counting when we went to the rodeo to see David Cassidy at the Astrodome. But all these concerts, when I saw at the Summit, Aerosmith headlining with Journey middling, Infinity had just come out with Kevin with When the Lights Go Down in the City. That was new. And the opening band with their original singer, AC/DC, with Bon Scott. Never heard of them. They were a little intense for me, but in retrospect, too bad I don't remember it better. But there were so many concerts I saw. ELO, so many big concerts I saw at the Summit. You know what it got turned into? A mega church. And it's that horrible man. He was a big hypocrite when the big storms hit Houston a year or two ago. With me, everything's about a year or two ago, or it's 20 years ago. I can't think of his name, but he's a horrible, hypocritical preacher. And the Summit is his mega church now. It's not the Summit anymore. It's the, I don't even want to, even if I could name it, why would I want to? Don't we need digestible science more than ever? Yes, we do, Aaron. That's a lot of pressure on me. Once I fulfill my obligation with once I get out a certain number of these virus videos, and I actually have a contract that I'm going to do a certain number of videos, and then I'm not going to give up on that, but that'll open me up to more time to, I don't know, maybe do something funny and science-y. But you're right. You're absolutely right, Aaron. All right, well, maybe that was our final story for the evening. Aaron, you're good with the question. You don't give me any softballs though, not exactly. You don't go for the skin deep. You go for the deep ones. We don't have time for that other light bullshit. Especially not now with the virus hanging over our heads. Maybe in this very air. Very air. You wouldn't think it would be easy to rhyme with derriere, but this very air. is reminiscent of your derriere. Can you think of any others? There's some that are a stretch. Like you can't do something like barrier. No. Derriere. This verriere. I can't think of any others. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I don't know if anyone was over on Twitter / Periscope or on Facebook. But thanks for tuning in. And you know, you guys, some of you are out there, right? I'm not seeing your comments anymore, but you can pull many quotes out of your... Oh, what is this? Wheel of Fortune? Do I have to guess what those other 2 letters are? Is there an S? Well, everybody stay safe. Breathe, but not around other humans. We didn't drop any frames. We might still be in sync. My face looks really shiny in this lighting. I could have told you about Saifu, but we'll save that story for another day. Very interesting event. Kevin, I'm gonna go eat dinner. Good night, everyone. Good night, Brian. Hey, good to see you in print, Kevin. Take care. Be safe. Hey, Darlene, what's in the cup? I'm just drinking water tonight. Very boring. Wait, Darlene, didn't you know this? We didn't talk about this? I'll have to prepare something to show you. I can tell you some stories, but I should really prepare a couple of visuals for them. Good night, Denise. And Darlene, thanks for tuning in, but I'm going to call it a night. We're just under 2 hours. For these weeknights, maybe that's a little more reasonable than some of these marathons. But it's always fun. When I get a chance, I'll prepare more material. But thanks again. Take care. And, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, and tomorrow's Friday. It's a weekend night. Who knows what'll happen? See you then.